Hello, I hope that you are doing great. In the previous two videos, basically what we have done is to create and validate a form, and we also have connected these forms with HTML files. But the problem is that we don't provide any information to the user, just in case that he registered properly or in case that he introduced wrong information in the registration form. We didn't help the user to know if the user have introduced the things fine or if make some mistakes. And this is something that we are going to do in this video. We are going to introduce some message that help the user when is using our application. Okay, let's move on. Then basically we have to do different things. We have to introduce some changes in the root file. This is the first thing that we are going to do here. Basically, that is when we submit the form, we are going, if we have success, we have in the submission, basically we are going to introduce a flash message that is going to be, the next message is your account has been created. Now you are able to log in. This is the first thing, and this is going to be a message that is going to be success. Okay, this is the first thing. We save this information, and now we go to the home page, and we are going to disclose this message in case that you have you are registered properly. And we are going to do this just above the home, the H1. Okay. Then we are going to do the next thing is basically we are going to introduce here a with message. We are going to get flash it message with categories equal true. This is the first thing. I'm going to close this. I'm going to end with. I'm going to close this statement. Now inside this statement, what we are going to do is to create another statement that is going to be an if clause. If statement, if message. We are going to close again this if. And if to do here the right indentation, and here basically inside we are going to introduce a for statement. For category message in messages. Here basically we close again the for loop and for. And here basically what we are going to do is to disclose the message, and here we are going to create a div with we are going to create a div with a class equal to alert, and here we are going to pass the category And here basically what we are going to do is to display the message. Okay, I'm going to check that everything is fine with message, get message. Okay, if message, the indentation is correct. Okay, since that is correct, now we save this and we are going to check that this work. Okay, I go to the terminal, and here this is still running, the server is still running, this is very good. And I go here. Okay, I have to rerun this again. I'm going to close this terminal, new terminal. Now I run it, Python application. Okay, I open this. I go to the register and I here introduce some registration. Now when I click Sync tab, okay, this is working. Now basically what you have here is this message that we have your account has been created. Now you are able to log in. Okay, this is great. We have done first the message in which basically when we log in we create this message. Now that the next thing that we have to do is to introduce when we are registering here, basically if we make some mistake, we want to also to provide that information to the user, and to do that is something very simple. We have to go to the register form and then we have to modify this file to do that. Okay, and basically we are going to do this for each single category. Here basically below this what we have to do is the next thing is basically we have to introduce an if statement. If form user name and we have errors, I'm going to close this statement by using, I'm going to introduce here an end if. Okay, and here basically in case that we have introduce this, basically what we have to do is to cut this, Control X, we paste it here, Control V, and we have to introduce form and different class just to provide that this is invalid, is invalid. Okay, if we have a mistake here, we have to provide that information. Okay, this is the first thing that we have to do, and we have to disclose some information. We basically want to create a div with the message that we are generating. Basically, we have to provide some information to the user and tell, okay, this is this field is wrong for this reason and this reason and this reason, and this is what we are going to do here. We are going to create a div with a class of invalid feedback, and inside this div basically what we are going to disclose is all the errors, and then we are going to create another loop that is for error in form user name errors, and basically here what we have to do is we are going to create an span, and inside the span what we are going to provide is the error. Okay, and then we have to close the loop. We close this loop. And 4. Okay, this is correct. Div, we have this, and now basically in case that we don't have any mistake, we have to introduce an else statement, and then basically here what we have to do is to copy this, control copy, and here we paste it. But in this case the form is not invalid, therefore we have to erase this is invalid. Okay, and that's all. We save this information, and basically what we have to do is to repeat this for the other fields, and basically given that this is repeating all the time, I go here, control copy, I go down and I erase this, control V, and here instead of username, this is going to be I say click Alt, I underline all these fields, and then here I type email. Okay, then I go down, I do exactly the same here, control V, and instead of username, this is going to be password, and here I go again, I go down, and here instead of username again I underline this with Alt, and here I type confirm password. Okay, now we save this, and now if I go to the terminal, I check that everything is working, seems that everything is correct. This is great. Then I go to the web page, and for example, if I introduce here only one letter, is basically disclosing a message that is the length, this have to be at least 2. And then this is super nice because now I introduce this, and for example, if I introduce here Björk, for example, only Björk, and I click in sign up, I have to complete this before. If I introduce here to sign up, it's going to write here invalid email address, and this is super nice because it's helping us to identify, helping the user to identify the mistakes, and basically this is violating the validation requirements that we have introduced in the first video. Then now if I introduce this and I introduce I fill all the fields correctly, if I submit here, we are redirected to the home page and we have this positive message. Okay, this concludes the third video, in which basically we have introduced a message to the user, and these messages are kind of positive message in the case that you have introduced all your credentials correctly in the registration form. You have a positive message telling that you have introduced these credentials correctly, and if you didn't introduce those credentials correctly, you have introduced a wrong email or whatever, then it's going to appear some message that helps the user to fix those problems when he's registering, and this helps the user to register properly. Okay, in the last video what we are going to do is basically to deploy this app in Amazon Web Service and to protect sensitive information by creating environmental variables. See you in the next video.